In this episode of Highlight Sundays, extra PSAs for you this week thanks to Life Hackers by Week. Hello and welcome back to Highlight Sundays. It is the 46th week of 2012 and here are your highlights. As mentioned, this week Lifehacker is doing something quite special called the Spy Week. So basically for this entire week, most of their articles have been towards a more security kind of perspective. So I'm just putting the word out here. If you are interested to see more, feel free to head over to Lifehacker. They have a really great selection of articles this week. So let us now jump right into our first PSA. Now this is actually already a case closed, but earlier this week there actually has been some panic because there is actually a way to steal or hijack any Skype account. Now from what I understand, this only works because you can actually sign on as another account and then attempt to recover your password using that. Once again, for more details you can head over to the source link because I cannot really explain this very well. But from what I understand, Skype has been very proactive in actually resolving this problem. Within hours of this issue surfacing, they've actually taken down their forgot password, password recovery page. And I'm sure they're in the process of putting in a better one. Our second item today is still a PSA. In fact, it is a news article and it is titled "Texas Woman Buys $200 iPad from Gas Station That's Actually a Mirror." So basically this woman was approached by someone with a semi-transparent package. She could see, something with an Apple logo on it. And the guy said, well, it's a new iPad. It would cost $700 or so in stores, but he was willing to let it go for $200. So the deal was made, and it was eventually found that the thing in the packaging was not an iPad at all, but was actually a mirror. It had an iOS home screen pasted on the front, as well as some Apple decal on the back, to make it look slightly convincing. And there you go, that's $200 for a mirror. And the moral of the story is, if something looks too good to be true, probably there's something wrong with it. Our third item today is still a PSA. And this one is actually a part of Lifehacker's Spy Week feature. The title of this article is "The Most Common Hiding Places for Workplace Passwords." It seems to be some kind of a trend in the workplace. People don't really, safeguard their passwords really well. So this article actually shows you some of the most common places, including places like under the keyboard, under the desk, under the mouse pad, or even just as a post-it note on the screen. The unfortunate thing is, if you think that's safe, well, it's not. The article actually comes from an IT staff. Basically, I guess his role is somewhat along the lines of maintenance, and basically his job goes along the lines of, people phoning him and telling him, oh, something's wrong with my computer. And when he actually goes to their workstation, chances are they aren't there. And yet he's actually able to rectify and resolve the problem without the user actually being there. And how does he log in? Well, he looks under the keyboard, or maybe under the mousepad, or maybe under the desk. The article goes on to give some advice regarding how you'd want to store your passwords. I'm sure the most trivial and evident answer to that is, well, don't put it on paper. But of course, if you need to do that, the least you could do is to carry it with you, for example in your wallet. It might not look like it, but that should rank up there with the valuables. And by that I refer to things like your money, your ATM card, your ID, your keys. That is how much you should safeguard your passwords. Once again, the link to the full article is in the video description, so feel free to head down there and read the original article. He elaborates way more than I do, so it is definitely worth taking a look at. Now the next article isn't really very tech related, but it's nevertheless interesting to me, especially as a filmmaker. This article comes from Gizmodo and it's titled "Movie Sound Effects Before Soundtrack Existed." Now there isn't a whole lot to the article, but the point is for, in the theater days, what they actually did to, have sound effects was to actually have a room with a whole lot of stuff that is supposed to make noise. There is actually a picture in that article that shows this in pretty good detail, so it's definitely worth a look, and well, it is a good insight into, the roots of filmmaking. I know I don't really have a lot to say about this because that is pretty much it in a nutshell, so yeah, link in the video description. The next 3 articles I have for you, which means we actually have quite a bit more articles this week than usual. But the next 3 articles I have for you are really short, just like the previous one. So yeah, just to let you know. Our 5th article is called "This is not an alien planet." This is actually a photography thing, and well, you see these nice pictures in the source link. I kinda don't want to spoil it for you, but once again, I have to talk about it. And what this is it does look, like an alien planet, but it is in fact the surface of a soap bubble. Now the unfortunate thing is we probably will have a hard time trying to photograph an equally spectacular soap bubble, and the reason for this is because the photographer actually mixes some stuff into the detergent so that the bubble actually stays longer. He also has a complex lighting system to create, the optical sort of effects that appear on the surface of the bubble. Unfortunately, he does not go into very deep detail into exactly how he does this, but still, the photos are nice to look at. Next up is an article called the Samsung Galaxy Camera Unboxing. Now, I never actually realized Samsung is actually making a camera in the Galaxy line. So what's really different about this camera is the fact that it is half smartphone, half camera. From what I understand, it actually runs the Android operating system. And I guess that is actually why Samsung markets this under the Galaxy line, which is its smartphone line, as opposed to its camera line, which I believe it already has one that's been doing quite well over the years. The article I'll be linking you to is basically an unboxing. In fact, if possible, I'll try to find another article where they actually talk a little bit more in depth regarding, what the phone, or should I say camera, actually does. See, it's easy to get the two mixed up. Our last article for today is full on in the phone territory, and in fact has something to do with the latest version of Android Jelly Bean, that is, Jelly Bean 4.2. Apparently some Galaxy Nexus users have already received their 4.2 OTA, but this has only come out to certain users. I believe these are users of the Takju build, because I'm on 4.1 Yakju, and I haven't received anything yet. But I'm sure it's going to come soon, because from what I understand, the differences between Takju and Yakju are very minimal, so I'm looking forward to receiving this OTA. Of course, the link, which comes from Engadget by the way, also links you to the actual ROM, so if you decide that you don't want to wait and you just want to flash on the 4.2 ROM, you can actually go ahead and do so by visiting the article in the video description. And that wraps it up for this episode of Highlight Sundays. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, or if you have anything to share for the next episode of Highlight Sundays, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate every like, favorite and subscription you give me. But until next time, you're watching 061 TV.